Thank you everybody for attending this web talk. The topic today is data quality. I am Giuseppe Malanga, Solution Architect here at Zaisi. Let's have a look at the agenda. So we are going to talk about why do you need data quality. We're going to have a look at the data quality common issue and data quality dimensions. What is data quality? Introduction to data profiling, and at the end I'm going to show you a demo about how to perform data quality using Talend. So let's have a look. Why do you need data quality? When you try to integrate different systems, you have different data coming from different sources. It means different metadata schemas which have to be integrated in your target system. They could come from internal or external subsystems, and in addition to that, users can modify manually the data and introduce some errors. The data could be dirty. It could contain duplicates, incomplete data, and noisy data. All the above causes big problems like loss of credibility, extra costs, and customer dissatisfaction. What are the common data quality issues and what is data quality dimensions? So in this example, we have two systems, system A and system B. So as you can see, we have some completeness issue like missing data, for instance, in the attribute age of system A. We have some integrity issue. For instance, the same city has a different zip code. And we have some validity data issue, like in the attribute age, we have a value -10, which is not valid for an age. We can see here some inconsistency between rate in system A and system B, and some accuracy, like the name of the customer in system A is John Smith and system B is John Smith with the Z at the end. What is data quality dimension? So data quality dimension is a recognized term used by data management professionals to describe a feature of data that can be measured or assessed against defined standards in order to determine the quality of data. The standards are validity, integrity, completeness, consistency, accuracy, timeliness. What is data quality? Data quality is a process of converting source data into high quality data. The process has several steps. The first one is the staging the data. Basically, you copy the data to a staging area where you will perform data profiling. The second step is data profiling. So data profiling helps you to discover, assess, and understand data. Third step is data cleansing. Using data cleansing, you want to eliminate errors, duplicates, inconsistencies, and lookup tables. Then you have another step, which is data enrichment. And at the end, you're going to do data load. Let's have a look at the data profiling. This one is just an introduction to data profiling. Most of the time, you don't have enough information about the source data. So you need to understand your data. So data profiling allows you to understand your data, gives you metrics on data qualities, gives you information if the data follows particular patterns or standards, increases the confidence in your data. How do you conduct data profiling? So you can use simple statistics. For instance, you can identify the primary key in your tables. You can identify null values or blank values, identify unique values, distinctive values. You can use patterns. Once you know that a particular set of data follows a pattern, you can create a reg expression for filtering data errors. For instance, emails, date time, postcode, phone. You can also define thresholds, like use business rules for checking anomalies. And you can also use functional dependency to understand if attributes have relationships between them. Let's have a look at an example of data profiling use simple statistics. In this case, simple statistics gives you numbers about how many rows you have in a table, how many null values you have, how many blanks value you have, how many unique value you have, how many distinct value you have. For data profiling pattern can give you an example of how many times a specific expression comes in your data. For instance, in the first example for a phone number, as you can see, you have different patterns, and there is also the percentage of the frequency of this particular pattern. Same for the email. In the example 2, you can see how many times the specific pattern occurs for the email attribute. And then thresholds. So you can define business rules to set the threshold to identify anomalies and check the validity of your data. For instance, in this example, you can check if all your customers are more than 18 years old and set up a threshold of 100%. Functional dependency. In this example, we are checking if the two attributes, zip code and city code, are aligned. Let's have a look at the demo now, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of context. So let's assume that I'm running an Acme charity campaign, and there are supporters which are making donations to my company. So I've been provided with a list of supporters. So will be my input data source. I do not have any information about the quality of the input data source, and from the input data source, I want to build a CRM database, which is my output data source. I define some constraints, so I don't want duplicates loaded in my CRM system. I don't want to store invalid data in my CRM system. For instance, I want to validate the addresses given by the supporters. I want to standardize the data. For instance, I want all the dates in the format day, month, year, and I don't want to load sensitive data in my CRM system. Like, I don't want to store credit card information. In order to perform data quality, I will do the following steps. So the first step will be staging the data in the staging area. Then I will run the data profiling using Talend. I will define some action for improving the data quality. I will do data masking. Then I will do some standardized data. The third step will be data enrichment. Then identify duplicates and then send duplicates to an area called data remediation sandbox. Then I will build an ETL job in order to apply the action defined. I will run the ETL job and check the final results. If we have any error, I will do the data remediation, resolve the errors, and reintegrate the data. So this one is a simple SQL client. I am connected to a database and I already have staged the data in a table called Acme staging, and this is my data. So I have got 39 rows and I want to build the CRM, Acme CRM supporter table. So if I refresh the table, my table is empty, as you can see. The first step is data profiling. This tool is the Talend tool, so it's an Eclipse-based application. You have here the repository section where you can define your connection, your job, and you can build your job and run the job. On the right side, you can choose different perspectives. What I'm gonna do is create the profiling process first. I already have defined supporters profiling. How do you define supporter profiling? Basically, you have defined a connection, a DB connection, which connect to my staging area in the database. From then, I can select which column I want to analyze. I'm not going to analyze all the columns. I want to just analyze the most relevant columns in the project. And for each column, I can define some indicators. For instance, for the supporter ID, I'm gonna use the simple statistic analysis, like counting how many rows I have, counting how many null, how many distinct value, how many unique values, how many duplicates values, how many blank value. From date of birth, I can use the pattern frequency statistics, checking how many times a specific pattern appears. And I can use some regular expression to check if it's a valid UK date. Same for contact number. I can use a regular expression to validate if it's a UK phone. For the email address, I can use another regular expression for checking if it's a valid email address, and so on for postcode, credit card, title, etc. Let's have a look at the profiling analysis. If I run the analysis, so Talend will do some in the backend some process to analyze the data. And let's have a look at the graphs. So for my first attribute, supporter ID, I can see here how many rows I have. I don't have null values. I have 39 distinct count. It means that I don't have duplicates, and each one is a unique value. So this is perfect for understanding that supporter ID is my primary key. Let's have a look at the pattern matching. So I've got 89-74% valid rows and 10% invalid rows. If I look at the invalid rows, at the data, so basically the data is invalid because it doesn't follow the regular expression defined before, which has 9 digits. So probably I have to do a manual step to fix this issue. Let's have a look at date of birth. I've done simple statistics like row count, null count, and blank count. As you can see, I don't have nulls or blanks value. I've done also pattern analysis. So as you can see, most of my dates are in the format digit, digit, slash, digit, digit, slash, 4-digit. I have 2 dates with different formats and 1 date in different format. If I look at the pattern matching, I've got 92.31% of data which match my regular expression and 70.69% which doesn't. If I look at the invalid values, I can see that they don't match the regular expression regarding the format of my date, which is digit digit slash digit digit slash 4-digit. Look at the contact number. I can see here how many rows, how many distinct value, how many unique value, how many duplicates. From the pattern matching, I can see that some of them, they don't match the regular expression for the UK phone. If I look now at the email address, as you can see here from the simple statistics, I've got some duplicates, 28.21% doesn't match the regular expression for the email. If I look the values, as you can see here, they don't have the at character in the email address. And for the address line, simple statistics shows me that I don't have nulls or blanks value. I can carry on analyzing the postcode, transaction date, credit card, payment start date, and so on. So once I have done my data profiling and I have understood that my data is not well formatted, the quality of my data is not high, I can build an ETL tool for fixing the quality of my data. So remember we talked about some actions defined for improving the quality of my data. So the first action was masking sensitive data, like masking the credit card number. So if I look at the original data in the database, the credit card is, I have the credit card of my supporters here. I don't want to store those sensitive data, this sensitive data in the CRM table. So this is why I built a subjob with this component for masking the credit card. The second step is data enrichment. So basically, I want to validate the address provided by the supporters with an external API, and the external API is gonna validate and tell me if it's an invalid address. So filtering the response from the external API, any error, I will send any error to the data stewardship. The data stewardship is an area available for business user where they can go and fix manually the data. The third step is standardize data. So basically I want to standardize all the date of birth in a specific format. Let's say I want to standardize the date of birth in the format day slash month slash year 4-digit. The latest step is the deduplication. So I've built an algorithm, I can show you here. This algorithm based on key matching is able to understand and predict duplicates in my data. So when I'm running this algorithm, in the background is doing some analysis and perform some actions in order to find duplicates in my staging data. And it's not just for matching attributes, duplicates attributes. This one is for matching duplicates in records. So how can I define this algorithm? So basically what I need is the keys for matching, like the address, the name, or the payment reference and the transaction number. So the algorithm will identify any record which have the exact transaction number, the exact payment reference, and a probabilistic matching between names and addresses. So if two records, for instance, they have the same transaction number, the same payment reference, but they differ for just the addresses and the name, so they are considered as a duplicates. Same as before, any duplicates, they are sent to the data stewardship area where the business users can fix manually the data. If I run the job from the beginning, I can see the flow of data coming from the first subjob to the end. So as you can see, I have got 39 rows in the staging area, and now the second job is validating the addresses, and as you can see, I have 3 records with invalid addresses. Then I'm gonna standardize the remaining records, the filtered records, and then identify any duplicates. So as you can see, from the 39 records of the beginning, I've got only 30 rows in the CRM database, and 6 rows are duplicates and 3 rows are in address error. Let's have a look at the CRM database built. If I look at the data, as you can see here, this is my valid data, and as you can see, the date of birth is standardized in the format I wanted, and I don't have sensitive data for credit card number, and my support ID is in the same format. If I go to the stewardship data console, which is this area, if I refresh the console, let me just log in with my account. So if I go to the stewardship console, here I can see all the tasks assigned to me. I can see the status, if it's a new task, resolved task, and I can filter by tags as well. So I have created 2 tags, one related to the deduplication, as you can see here, the tasks for the deduplication, and one related to the address validation. Let's have a look first at the address validation. So if I look at the first one, as you can see, the first error is the misspelled name of the town, which is London instead of London. So I can change manually this value and add the previous values. Let's just change London, and save the, the, the data. The status now of my task is being resolved, so I can go again to the invalid address and have a look. So same error as before, name of town misspelled, so I can copy all the values and change just the name of the town, save the change, and so on for the other task. Same action. So now I have to fix the deduplication. If I look at one task about duplicates, so I can underline the equal values, and as you can see, the differences is between the two records is in the supporter ID, surname. So I can see also the score related to these two records. So basically, this number tells me that this record is, so the difference between the two records, say the first record is 96.5% similar to the second record. So let's assume that I want to keep the first one, so I can copy all the second one, sorry, I can copy all the values here and save the changes. Let's have a look at the second task. So in this case, the second record is 97.5% similar to the first one. In this case, I want to keep the first one and save the change. The third one, I want to do something different, and let's say that I want to keep something from the first one, but the names I want to keep Adam. The surname I want to keep Adam. So basically I have created a golden record, which is a mix between the first and the second record. I'm gonna save the changes and close. So once that I have resolved all the tasks, I can reintegrate my data in the CRM database. So I have created another job which does that automatically. So it reads my data from the stewardship console and store the rows to the CRM database. So if I run this job, I'm expecting 6 rows coming from the stewardship console and 6 rows loaded into the CRM database. So if I refresh this data, I will see the new rows added to the database, as you can see. And same as the previous data, no sensitive information, and standardized data. So that's it for now.